More than 200 years ago, in her beloved masterpiece, Pride and Prejudice, Jane Austen introduced the world to a young woman living in a small English village. She wasn't wealthy, she wasn't powerful, and she certainly wasn't the most proper lady of her time. Yet she became the gold standard for heroines. Her name is Elizabeth Bennet. For over 2 centuries, Elizabeth has been a muse to millions. Fans across every country and every generation return to her story, finding in her a rare kind of courage and a reflection of themselves. But why? Why, after all this time, through the shifting of cultures, the evolution of economics, and the radical transformation of our world, does she remain so timeless? To understand why Elizabeth Bennet continues to resonate so deeply, we must look past the witty banter and the muddy hemlines to the very architecture of her mind. She is a thinker and a rebel whose true power was found in a simple, radical act: the unwavering integrity to remain herself in a world that demanded she be someone else. Wit as a survival mechanism. From the opening pages of Pride and Prejudice, Elizabeth, often called Lizzie or Eliza, stands out through her lively, playful disposition. In a society obsessed with rank and hierarchy, her wit is more than just humor, it is her independence. While others are stifled by social expectations, Elizabeth observes the world with sharp insight and a refusal to be intimidated. When Mr. Darcy snubs her at the Meryton ball, Elizabeth doesn't respond with bitterness, but with a playful sarcasm that protects her dignity. I could easily forgive his pride if he had not mortified mine. This line is the heartbeat of her character. She is perceptive enough to notice arrogance, yet honest enough to admit her own wounded pride. Whether she is debating ideas or calmly telling the formidable Lady Catherine de Bourgh, "He is a gentleman, I am a gentleman's daughter. So far, we are equal," Elizabeth is performing a quietly radical act. She refuses to see herself as inferior simply because she has less wealth. The radical refusal to settle. One of the most powerful reasons Elizabeth is so loved is her belief that marriage must be a partnership of equals, based on affection and respect, not convenience. In the Regency era, marriage was a practical necessity. As the second of 5 daughters whose family estate was entailed, meaning it could only be inherited by a male heir, her future was financially precarious. Her mother, Mrs. Bennet, was understandably obsessed with finding wealthy husbands to secure their survival. But Elizabeth refuses to compromise. Mr. Collins proposed to her, and Mr. Collins was a good deal. He was the legal heir to her home, Longbourn. By marrying him, Elizabeth could have single-handedly saved her mother and sisters from homelessness. But she rejected Mr. Collins because she found him ridiculous and hollow, refusing to trade her intellectual life for the mere safety of his social position. When she rejects the bumbling Mr. Collins, she isn't just turning down a man. She is rejecting a life of intellectual suffocation. Despite the immense pressure, she tells him, "You could not make me happy." This is her standard. She chooses potential instability over a marriage without love and rejects the narrow, stifling script society had written for her. She carries the same fire into her rejection of Darcy's first proposal at Hunsford. On paper, Darcy offers her the world, a staggering £10,000 annual income, the keys to Pemberley, and a seat at the peak of British society. But because his offer is laced with condescension and a disdain for her family, Elizabeth sees it for what it truly is, a gilded cage. Her bold refusal proves a fundamental truth of her standard. She will never accept a marriage that lacks love and respect. By saying no to Darcy when he is at his most arrogant, she forces him to realize that his wealth is secondary to his character. She doesn't want a savior to rescue her from her life. She wants a partner to share it with. In that drafty room at Hunsford, Elizabeth chooses her own dignity over a fortune, proving that for her, the only thing more frightening than being alone is being in the wrong place, living a life that was never meant for her. The humanity of the flaw. What truly makes Elizabeth compelling is that she is not a perfect heroine. She can be proud, stubborn, and, as the title suggests, prejudiced. Her greatest strength is also her greatest trap. She prides herself on her discernment, yet she allows her wounded ego to cloud her judgment of Darcy while blindly believing Wickham's charms. The turning point of the novel is not a grand romantic gesture, but an intellectual ego death. After reading Darcy's letter, Elizabeth experiences the painful realization, "Till this moment, I never knew myself." This is perhaps the most important line Jane Austen ever wrote. It is the moment Elizabeth realizes that being intelligent doesn't mean always being right. She doesn't defend her mistakes, she confronts them. This willingness to dismantle her own prejudices and learn from them is what makes her feel so human and so deeply relatable to anyone who has ever had to admit they were wrong. Why she remains the standard. Ultimately, Elizabeth Bennet is loved because she feels real. She is a modern woman who lived long before the term existed. She reminds us that first impressions can be misleading, that self-reflection is essential, and that true understanding often comes from humility. She doesn't find a prince to take her away, she finds a partner to walk beside. More than 2 centuries later, she continues to resonate because her journey is our journey, the constant struggle to balance our pride with our heart, and the enduring courage to open our eyes and truly see the world. I'd love to hear from you. What is your favorite Elizabeth Bennet moment? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to Living the Classics for more. Until next time.